At some point, people stop arguing about what should be happening and start paying attention to what's actually happening. And lately, you can hear it in how people are talking. Not loud, not dramatic, just different. Because when expectations don't match reality long enough, people start to notice.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Are you displeased with the war in Iran?
Yes, it's not our war. We should not be sending our soldiers over there to get harmed when it's not about us. It's about them. Like, why are we sticking our noses where we don't belong?
What do you think about the decision to strike Iran?
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago, the last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay a little more, yeah.
Why do you think gas prices going up?
War. That's all I know.
Are you pleased with us being in Iran?
Not really. No, there should be no war. Yeah. What do you do?
What do you think about President Trump? How's he doing?
No comment.
Did you
Not
vote?
too good. I did vote for him.
Have you noticed gas prices going up lately?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Does that affect you at all?
Definitely. Absolutely. My husband, he drives diesel, so that's like $2 more.
What do you think about the U.S. decision to go into Iran?
I think we got to do what we got to do to keep this country safe. So, and if it means paying a little bit more in gas right now to keep everybody safe, then that's what we got to do.
What you're seeing right now isn't just frustration, it's a shift in expectation. For a while, there was a belief that things were improving, or at least about to improve. That certain pressures would ease, that everyday life would start to feel a little more manageable. But when people look around now, a lot of them are asking the same quiet question. Why doesn't it feel like things are getting better? And that gap between what people expected and what they're actually experiencing is where this conversation is coming from.
This is to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. As a loyal supporter that stood behind you for the last almost 8 to 10 years, I had very much confidence that you was going to do what you said your second term. You said gas prices would come down, food would come down. You said no more wars. And then what happened? Gas is expensive. We're in war now. So Trump, all I got to say is, look here, I'm a loyal supporter, but I just, at this time right here, you have let me down. I've been called deployable, I've been called a mega, I've been called all kinds of stuff, trying to stand up for you until you can prove that you can bring gas prices down and our food prices down and start doing your job. Gas is $3.59 a gallon. Mr. President, I cannot support you no more until you bring down the prices.
Because this isn't about headlines, it's about everyday life. It's about walking into a store and noticing prices you didn't used to think twice about. It's about making the same income, but it is not stretching the same way. It's about small decisions adding up, cutting back here, adjusting there, not because people want to, but because they feel like they have to. And over time, those adjustments start to change how people feel about where things stand, not based on what they're told, but based on what they're living.
You know, he pleaded to the people, make America great again. We're tearing America apart right now.
Fishermen here in Cortez, Florida are pissed off with the president who many of them voted for, and they're angry because of skyrocketing diesel prices.
I'm really scratching my head because I voted Republican and most of us in the fishing industry did. And we're not seeing the positives come out of it.
Now, before the war in Iran, gas coming from this pump in Cortez was going for $3.29 per gallon. Now, gas from this pump is closer to $5 a gallon. And for boats like this one, Linnea, which is about to go out on a 2-week sword fishing trip, it needs 4,600 gallons of diesel. And with prices like these, that's making business unsustainable. All of that on top of the fact that these fishermen are also having to contend with President Trump's erratic tariff policy.
When the tariffs initially went into effect, there was a huge jump in all of our tackle and supplies. And even though the tariff percentages were rolled back a little bit, our suppliers never rolled back their prices.
Now, the manager of this family-run fishing company here in Cortez, Karen Bell, tells me that the tariffs and the diesel prices mean she's going to have to raise the price of fish, and that cost is ultimately going to be incurred by the customers.
I'm going to try to push prices up. I hope consumers realize that, when we push prices forward or up, it's not really something we want to do.
And one fisherman warned me that this could mean the end for the fishing industry here in Cortez.
Oh, this could be the final straw for a lot of people. For a lot of people in this industry, man. I mean, we're already taxed to death. Everything, the cost of everything, tackle, the cost of operation, and then the fuel going up. It could be the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. I mean, and it's sad.
And these fishermen have a clear message to President Trump about who's suffering from this war back home.
The working class people like us that are going to suffer from this. There's no benefit to it for any of us. The war is pointless.
And it's not just individuals. You're seeing it with businesses too. Small businesses trying to keep up with rising costs. Larger companies adjusting prices, scaling back, or shifting strategies. Because when consumers feel pressure, businesses feel it right after. Less spending, more hesitation, more uncertainty. And that creates a ripple effect that moves through everything, from hiring to pricing to how confident people feel about the future.
Well, folks, while you were working your life away trying to provide for yourself and being forced to pay taxes, at least 3 cargo ships have been sunk in or around the Strait of Hormuz in the last 36 hours. Only 7 have actually managed to make the trip, down from an average of 79 a day. And to top it all off, the FBI just told California to prepare themselves for potential Iranian drone attacks. Oh, and the Fanta-fascist and his entire federal government still can't seem to supply you with a solid answer for why we are even involved in this. Well, besides for the fact that Israel said so, and the perpetually drunk sect-deaf Pete Kegsbreast seems to think for some reason he has been sent to prepare the earth for the return of Christ. Oh, sorry, misspoke there. He thinks Pumpkin Spice Palpatine has been sent to light the beacon and prepare the world for the return of Christ. Oh, is this what winning and being great feels like? Because if so, I think I'd rather lose.
But maybe the biggest change isn't just what's happening, it's how people are talking about it. The tone is different. Less about predictions, more about reflection. Less about what might happen, more about what's already happening. And you can hear it in the way people are sharing their experiences. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just a simple observation. That doesn't feel right. And when enough people start saying that, it stops being isolated. It becomes a pattern.
Hey, this video is for all the MAGA people and the people who still support Trump. You're either one of 2 things at this point. One, at best, you're either just choosing to remain willfully ignorant and burying your head in the sand. Or 2, you never actually gave a about anything or had any real values at all. You just wanted your team to win. And you want me to tell you how I know? Because they just come out and told us that the first 7 days of this war in Iran has cost the American taxpayer $11.3 billion. And for the last 6 years, all you have been talking about is spending our tax dollars on waste, fraud, and abuse. The left will say some like, hey, let's give kids a free lunch at school. And you guys will go, well, no, it's not my fault that their parents are lazy and don't want to get a job. I shouldn't have to pay for somebody else's kids. You say like, oh, I'm pro-life because I care about kids and I'm a Christian, but you ain't have nothing to say when your tax dollars are used to send over a bomb to an all-girl school, killing over 100 of them. We had to listen to y'all talk for 4 years about cheap gas. Look at the fucking gas now, dumb. I don't know how many times it's going to take for this motherfucker to look at you and tell you he don't give a about you before you finally start listening. Oh, that's right. It's because you never gave a about any of that. You only cared about your team winning. So I just got one more question for you.
I'm great, yeah. At the end of the day, this isn't about one moment or one perspective. It's about a collection of experiences, different people, different situations, but similar feelings. And when those feelings start to align, it usually means something deeper is shifting. Not necessarily overnight, not always in obvious ways, but in how people think, how they spend, how they plan, and how they measure whether things are actually improving. Because at a certain point, people stop listening to what's being said and start trusting what they're experiencing. So when you see these clips, it's not just about what's being said in each one, it's about what they all point to together. A change in how people are feeling, a change in expectations, and a growing awareness of the gap between the two. And I want to hear from you. Do you feel like things are actually improving, or does it still feel like something isn't lining up? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and stick around because we're going to keep breaking down what people are really experiencing beyond the headlines.